Welcome back. You're watching Dukascopy TV and I'm Darren McDermott. Today I'm joined by Dominique Chausse, CEO of Féminance, to gain her views on the global economy. Welcome today.
Thank you for your invitation, Darren.
So Dominique, you believe men and women actually view the economy in a very different way. So let's have a look at how Janet Yellen sees the economy. What are your views on her thoughts and her approach to US inflation?
I think the vision of Mrs. Yellen reflects really the fair, well-pragmatic sense of the woman. Despite very good statistic and figure we have in US, she stay very realistic of the situation. And when you take an example like the inflation, she received a lot of pressure to increase the level of inflation around 2 or 3 or 4, but because of the high level of unemployment. But this rate really doesn't reflect exactly the situation in US, because in reality they pass from 10% to 63%. It's a very good figure, but these facts come by the fact that people have accept very low salary and so often have part-time works. So the incomes in US are lower, and if inflation is immediately rise up, it could decrease the purchasing power of this person. So she's not so afraid by the fact that inflation is not a risk immediately. So, and I think also that this policy to stay the rate so low is a good thing to improve the investment, to stabilize the economy in US. Even if there is very nice things which have been done until now, and the recovery is really growing. Another example, in the past, when the economy was very strong in the year 1999, never bad weather during the winter could have affect so much the growth. So it's a reason why things seems to be always fragile, and a woman seems to be more quiet and more precise to not to be hurry up to make intervention.
Women always take their time. They're more patient probably than men in terms of their actions.
Okay, exactly.
And then let's have a look at the ECB, Dominique. Now, do you think the ECB is taking the right approach to inflation, or does it need a little bit more women to help them through?
Europe is very different. Europe are not the same stories as the US. And what surprised me all the time is that when I go in meeting, everybody wants we have inflation in Europe, but everybody forgotten that we had a big inflation during the past 10 years. I suppose economists don't go often in supermarkets and buy something, because they always, in statistics, you had not the reflect of this level of inflation. And now in Europe, also the purchasing power is very low. The salary haven't followed this increasing due to euro in main country like France, Greece, Italian, and all the Eurozone countries have this problem of inflation by euro. So it could be a good thing, je pense, to stop the inflation for the moment a little bit, to give the time to the wages to grow up a little bit, and to sustain the domestic demand. Because it's very important for a country to have a strong domestic demand, especially when you have a strong currency like euro in this time. A little bit less now, but especially now it's better. And you can see that in Germany, in the last statistic, you see that the demand was very strong, and despite the fact the exportation was decreasing because of the strong euro. And I think that the policy of the BCE is in the end a good thing for Euro, for Europe. It should have been done more earlier, I think, to sustain investment, of course.
Great point. Now, Dominique, many say that if Lehman Brothers was actually Lehman Sisters now, the crash would never really have happened. We wouldn't have seen all the problems. It wouldn't have been as drastic and bad as it actually was. Now, how valid do you think this point actually is?
It's a famous sentence from Christine Lagarde, and these sentences have been largely commented with against and for this question. Of course, we have all said that the more risk-averse of the woman in every situation, especially in managing enterprise, is a very good quality and the thing could have happened differently. I think they're more pragmatic, and they're less risky, they're more confident, they're more trusty, they're less corrupt, perhaps less ambitious. So for themselves. So in some studies, I read that specifically in financial era, it could be perhaps difficult also for women to do better thing, because when you are in a market place and in a big bank, and you are the honey or the two honey in a board, sitting with all the men, with this stress of gain and of the money, perhaps you are able to take the same risks as men, and so you can see very good women trader, and they take risks also. I think. On my view, that women could add an approach more risky, and we could avoid this fact, but not especially in the crisis. Before before if measures had been taken before the crisis, not to have some product like subprime, and so the trading like Mr. Kerviel was so forbidden, not go so far if women had been a lot in the boat.
Dominique, as always, a pleasure having you in the Dukascopy studio.
It's my pleasure also. Thank you very much, Doreen.
And thank you for tuning in to Dukascopy TV. Now do stay tuned, as we have lots more interviews just like this heading your way. Goodbye for now.